Yep.
You love an absolute tornado to go through the NCAA and Russell stuff.
Yep.
So I'm going to go with 5 more years. Pat.
This has
That's
been
my
fun.
final answer.
Cinco, yes or no? This has been fun.
NIL?
Yeah.
Yes, I think it's the NIL and the expanded playoff. I think it's the most compelling time in college football that I can remember.
Take the poll, Cinco. And by the way, the great Watson Brown's going to join us here coming up. Sean, 2 days ago in the World Cup, I don't know if I've ever seen a day of sports like that in my born days. This tournament, look, they let too many teams in, but when they get to that knockout round, I'm not sure there's anything better in sports, Sean, than that. And I'm being serious right now. The level of pressure on these guys, these world-level players, when they get to that penalty spot, and that should be an automatic goal, and they're launching balls over goals, they're hitting posts, they're shooting the ball wide, all because the pressure of millions of people is on their shoulders, and you can flat out see it, Sean. How great of a sport is that?
It's incredible. It's 20 years ago was my I played soccer, not at a high level or anything as a kid. Always kind of liked it, the Kyle Rote Jr., the Pele back in the day, Tampa Bay Rowdies, that every once in a while you get a blip. And I've heard my whole life, well, this will propel soccer, even though more kids play soccer than I think football and baseball combined in the country, and that's been that way for a long time. But 20 years ago was tell a story. I was painting the interior of my house one summer, and that came on, and it captivated me. I just had it on as background. So for 20 years, I've been just a big soccer fan. This tournament, I'm going to push back a little bit on you. I don't think they have too many teams, simply because, one, it gives you a whole day's worth of content on sports in a relatively boring time. So I'll watch it, or at least have it on. And then some of these teams that wouldn't have made it through to the round of 32. But again, I said it last week. Congratulations to the United States, the country, or whoever put it on, because the pageantry, it's just been wonderful. And the players, because the biggest stars, and again, I admitted I was wrong last week. The biggest stars are being showcased: Mbappe, Messi, Holland, on and on and on. That's what you want when you are showcasing your sport to the world. You hope that your superstars deliver, and so far, to my eyes, that's exactly what's happened.
Hey, Brian, that Mbappe guy yesterday from France. Go! France, man, and the other dude who's with him, Sean, who attempted the bicycle kick and hit the post with it. Those guys were putting on a show yesterday with Sweden. A show.
France is always, for a relatively small country, European countries like that, they just have an unbelievable concentration of talent. And then also, what people may not be educated in, the fact is that, not all their players have to be from France. You can be descendant of France some way. Like, arguably one of their greatest players, Zinedine Zidane, was Algerian, I think. But there's a connection to France if it was a colony, or his mother may have been something. But France is just unreal. I don't know how you stop them. I really don't.
France has 4 or 5 players that could be number 1 on any other roster.
Where I think their whole team is. I was watching every one of those, like down to Jules Koundé. I think he's at Barcelona right now. Every one of those guys at one time over the past several years, Rabiot, several years ago, were tops of the transfer summers when they became, when not free agents, but when they became sellable. PSG, I think, is one.
Yep.
For a long time, they were in a drought with the Champions League, and now they've won 2 in a row, I believe. So this is and then you take a look at it. Mbappe, here I was fluffing Messi last week like crazy, and deservedly so. But then you take a look at Mbappe's only 27.
Sean, he
and I think he's either tied or equal to Messi. And gosh, he's got at least one more World Cup in him, I would think.
I would think too. Sean, he could have had 5 goals yesterday.
He's a freak.
Literally.
He's an absolute freak. The draw on him is that he doesn't always give you what you saw yesterday. I mean, sometimes he'll go to sleep. He's a little mercurial.
Yes.
But when he turns it on, as they said last night, he's almost unplayable.
I say Kiffin's Wreck Lexus is shining like the sun in the middle of the day right now. He's got a great point. And I'm glad he noticed this. He said he's enjoying watching the body language between Ibrahimovic, Henry, and Alexi Lalas. They absolutely despise him. They look at him like, as they should, why is this scrub up here with us? I'm telling you, the other night, Ibrahimovic looked at him and said, have you, because Alexi was talking about the pressure with the penalty kicks, and he said, have you ever taken one of these? And he's in a World Cup. And he said, no. And he said, well, let me talk about it. It was so next level. Here we are, ladies and gentlemen. It's unbelievable, Andy. It's blazing hot where I am. It's blazing hot where you are. Heat wave, Martha Reeves and the Vandellas. It is upon us. Please be safe. Be good to yourself today. Be careful in the heat. Please make sure you're drinking lots and lots of water and electrolytes and all that good stuff. And avoid the caffeines if you can. Little hack. The Adidas reveal will not happen until the 7th. But I do want to wish you happy Adidas Day. Brian Hartman, let's do this. Because I got to get Watson in here. I'm on a schedule today. Because time's too tight to fight. We're never face to face. So let's bring the great Watson Brown in, and then we come back on the other side. It is a Wednesday with Watson Brown. By the way, I want to welcome a new sponsor to the show. They are also going to be the folks who will present our overtime, our overdrive overtime. It's high noon somewhere, sun's up, and it's high noon overtime. And Watson will be joining us on the high noon phone lines. The place where we're going to kick back, we're going to pop a top, presented by High Noon Hard Seltzer, made with real vodka, real fruit juice, 100 calories, no sugar added, gluten-free. And I want to shout them out. And shout out to Matt and everybody that went to bat for us and got this done. And y'all are next level. What can I say? We come back on the other side. We continue. It's a beautiful, beautiful day in the neighborhood. The great Watson Brown on the High Noon Hotline after this. Life never stops moving. And between the 30-minute commutes, daycare pickups, weekly soccer practice, Tuesday night yoga, X number of coffee runs, and that weekend trip to grandma's, you're racking up the miles. What you need is a tire that can keep up. A tire designed for doers. A tire that's going to last. Like the exceptionally long-lasting Michelin Defender tire. With an 80,000-mile warranty and the safety and comfort you expect, you can forget all about the miles ahead and focus on getting to your destination or conquering your to-do list. Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. That's Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. Fleet Tire. He doesn't always drink beer, but when he does, he definitely prefers Dos Equis. That's right. The most interesting man in the world has returned, and he's more interesting than ever before. His phone is addicted to him. All of his teeth, all are wisdom teeth. So raise a Dos Equis to the man, the myth, the legend. And remember, stay thirsty, my friends. Dos Equis, enjoy responsibly. 2026 Cervezas Mexicanas, White Plains, New York.
Are you tired of hiding your smile because of crooked teeth? At Knoxville Smiles, we've got the perfect solution. Invisalign. No metal, no wires. Just clear, comfortable aligners that straighten your teeth without anyone noticing. Eat what you want, smile with confidence, and see results in as little as 6 months. Call us today for more information about Invisalign. 865-539-1776. Or just visit us online at knoxvillesmiles.com. Smile brighter with Knoxville Smiles.
Baseball fans, it's time to step up to the plate. Look your best. Get some new Tennessee gear from Alumni Hall. Alumni Hall has the best selection. Top brands for you to choose from this season. Look, it's nice and warm outside. So get into any of their 6 air-conditioned East Tennessee locations. Shop online, download the app, grab your Tennessee baseball jersey, your hat, your decal, maybe a t-shirt, and they have so much more. Earn $10 in rewards for every $150 you spend. Go Vols and shop Alumni Hall, your ultimate Tennessee shopping destination. Touch them all with Alumni Hall. When it's time for a fresh coat of paint, run, don't walk to Walker's Painting. Interior and exterior, Walker's Painting's been making it beautiful since 1999 across the Knoxville area. New construction, repaints, commercial, residential, free estimates available. And get this, mention you heard Walker's Painting on the Basilio show, 10% off your first job. Let's go! Run, don't walk to Walker's Painting. 865-688-1410. That's 865-688-1410. Walker's Painting, making it beautiful since 1999. Check out the ad at the blog at tclub.team. Walker's Painting.
Inward Half is committed to the game and the memorable moments that happen in between. From the tee box to the tailgate, from the green to the big game. For the first birdie with Dad, the first big win with Mom. Friday night lights, Saturday superstitions, Sunday traditions. Fall into the comfort and unparalleled performance of Inward Half. This fall, enjoy the walk-in.
It's the hottest post-game show on the planet. Garza Law. Fifth quarter fan reaction. Fan reaction. As soon as the final gun sounds, we're live.
With Gary Sturm. He's with Mortgage Investors Group, making our community a better place every day. Gary, you've been at it 32 years, man.
Yes, Tony, I've been at Mortgage Investors Group for 32 years. We've known each other since, back in the 80s, right?
And we've gotten to know each other recently as our family has gotten involved with another mortgage. Through that whole process, you were a prince, just like Jeker. When he called you at 3 o'clock in the morning after a Tennessee loss, you've been giving your phone number out for a couple decades. And why is that, Gary?
This is the biggest financial decision you're ever going to make. You don't want to trust somebody online, some 800 number. You want to call somebody like myself that's going to give you my number, and you can call me anytime. I'm there to help you. I'm there to help you and your family, and I appreciate that. I appreciate your trust in me. You can call me anytime. You can be like Jeker and call me at 2 a.m. and complain about the balls just like he did. I'd rather you call me about a mortgage, but that's okay. If you want to cry about the balls, we can do that too. I'm a ball at heart. You know that. And if you want to come in and meet with me face-to-face, I'm here. If you want to do it online, I'm here. That's fine. If you're curious if you can qualify to buy a house, people know the housing market's tough. That's what I'm here for. There's no obligation. You can call me anytime. I get you pre-qualified. Or maybe you've got a mortgage, you're thinking about refinancing. Maybe you want to shorten the term. Maybe you want to go to a 15-year. Who knows? But again, that's what I'm here for. It's what I've been here for 32 years. My number is 865-660-2648. It's 865-660-2648.
Gary Sturm at Mortgage Investors Group, going to take great care of you.
Got a plumbing or HVAC problem at home? Whether it's an AC that won't cool, a furnace acting up, a clogged drain, or a water heater problem, Pipe Wrench Home Services is ready to help. Right now, get 15% off any HVAC or plumbing repair when you schedule service with Pipe Wrench Home Services. Our licensed technicians are equipped to diagnose the issue, explain your options, and get the repair done right the first time. Don't let a small problem turn into a major headache. That strange noise from your air conditioner, the water heater that's not keeping up, or the drain that keeps backing up won't fix itself. The longer you wait, the bigger the problem can become. At Pipe Wrench Home Services, we make repairs simple with friendly technicians and fast, reliable service that you can count on. We'll arrive ready to identify the problem and get your home back to normal as quickly as possible. Take advantage of 15% off any HVAC or plumbing repair and schedule your appointment today at pipewrench.com. And as always, same-day service guaranteed or the visit is free. Restrictions may apply. Eligible for repairs up to $5,000. Visit pipewrench.com for details.
My head is bowed, as it will stay throughout this segment. The great Watson Brown now joins us. Hey, Watson, happy 250 America. We live in a great country where you and I get to talk freely here with Sean Sinclair and Brian Hartman on a great Wednesday. So happy 250 America. Happy 5 to NIL. And Watson, why does it feel like NIL's been with us? As you're presented by Simpsons Meats, why does it feel like NIL's been with us for 50 years, Watson?
Does this go back to George Washington?
I'm
not
what are we
really
doing
sure.
here? Yeah.
It's so different, Tony, and we're just still trying to get our hands on it. And that's guys like myself that have been in the business for our whole lives, and then that's also the fans. I mean, it's such a deal that we're all trying to get our hands on it, and we like football and college sports, and we just want to make sure it's going in the right direction. Everybody is sincere about that, in my opinion. The fans are, the people that have been involved in this great sports of college for all these years are, and it's legit. It is a legit issue that we're all very concerned about.
I'll tell you this right now about what we're seeing. Tennessee announced Danny White's already making he's already the second highest paid coach in the deal, or second highest paid coach AD. Hey, Watson, his athletic department this year outside of Barnesy and softball had like a C- year, okay, across the board. He made close to or over $500,000 in bonuses. They're giving out bonuses to athletic directors if your team makes a bowl game. That's why the kids got in line for the money in the first place. When these universities started writing deals like that, Watson, and started rewarding the administrators for nothing, because that's nothing, Watson, at the University of Tennessee, qualifying for a bowl game. That's like me waking up and fogging up the mirror in the morning. What are we doing?
There's been many college football coaches fired after going to a bowl. Many.
Thank you.
That wasn't good enough. So that's just the way it is.
So anyway,
I think that it all started, Tony. I think it all started from what we started paying the coaches.
Yep.
When we started paying the coaches the big bucks, and then here come the athletic directors and everybody, and then the kids saw that they could get in on it, but it started with the coaches. It absolutely started when we really started bumping those salaries way up there. Don't go back and look at what Coach Bryant made in his heyday time compared to what they're making today. Don't do it. You wouldn't believe it if you saw it. You would not believe it.
Well, I asked Coach Mears one time, what was the most you made? He said 40,000.
Oh, go back and look at them.
Go
back. I know times are different, but they're not that big a difference. I know cost of living and all of that is up more, but not the disparity in what we're paying these college coaches, basketball coaches, football coaches. That's where it started. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. That's where it started.
That's the truth.
And from that point on, it's taken off. And now we've got ourselves a big old pile here that needs to be pushed through and found out what can we do to make this get stable and better. And we're not there yet, but at least we're discussing it, and that's a good thing.
Well, and we're going to discuss some stuff because they're making some changes. And, the NIL, we're blowing the cake out. By the way, what's your favorite kind of cake, Watson? If I'm making you an NIL cake today, what's your favorite kind of cake? What's on your NIL cake?
My favorite cake would be coconut cake. White cake and coconut icing. That would be
really?
Yep.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, that's me. My wife does not like coconut, so I have to buy that. She is a great cook. I don't get coconut cake. I can tell you that.
The great Watson Brown now joining. All right, Watson. So the committee to be the committee, this thing seems like it's going to get rubber stamped and get through, but 5 for 5 for everybody. 5 years. Everybody gets 5 years, except foreign kids in basketball, because they're trying to close a loophole that LSU's and others have taken advantage of. 5 for 5 for everybody with age limits. For it or against it, Watson? Where'd my man Watson go? Sounds like he left. Cinco, what do you think of 5 for 5 before we get Watson back? Cinco?
Tony.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Watson. 5 for 5 for everybody, Watson. What do you think?
I've been for it. The red shirt stuff and the medical red shirt and giving 2 if you have to, getting an extra year if you have 2 years of just so many little things. Let them play 5. And if you lose one from red shirt from injury, you lose it. But 5 for 5 is 100% behind it. Been behind that.
The thing that's funny about the 5 for 5 is they're already making exceptions, which is so NCAA, like Mormon mission exception. There's a couple other like exceptions they're already talking about. I mean, these people.
I think military
is another one, yeah, which I agree with. I think
and I agree.
Thing,
I agree with the Mormon one. That's serious
yeah.
stuff to that religion, and everybody does it. They all go on their missions, and
yep.
I agree with that one. I agree with it.
That's why when you're playing those Polynesian kids and they're out there and they're 26 years old, that's why it looks like boys against men sometimes. How physical those teams are. Moving along, because it is.
BYU a bunch of times. You're dead right about that, man. Those are men out there, some of those guys.
Hey, let me tell you something about those Polynesians. We had a couple here, Albert Twina, Jesse Malona. We've seen our share of Polynesians down through the years. Of course, Nico's one of them, but that's another story for another day. They said he had 3,000 family members, Watson. Those are extremely clannish people. Apparently, he had like 3,000 people in my son's girlfriend's neighborhood. She lived 2 doors down from him and said they had some great luau's out there. Watson doesn't know how to take me. Okay, moving along. The second thing they've done, and this is interesting. This one snuck up on me. As Watson Brown presented by our friends at Simpson's Meats, you ready to treat yourself over the 4th of July holiday? You ready to go and get your hooks in some Simpson's Meats? Simpson's Meats online. They'll ship anywhere in the country. They will take incredible care of you. Tell them we sent you. How about this one, Watson? And I want Sean's input on this as well. The second proposal that's going to get through is now you can have your 20 practices anytime. Doesn't have to be in the spring. So if you want, you can take your 20 practices and slide it into the summer closer to your run up to camp. Watson, you're a head coach. I'm going to give you a choice. What would you do if I said you could have your 20 practices at any time? Where are you having them?
I would have less in the spring, probably about 10. I'd not have another 10 spread out. I never liked when we would have 27 practices in 20-something days, 26 days or something, 28 days, whatever it was. You're putting the kid on the field too much. You got to get your practices in, and you didn't have enough days to do it in, so you're never giving them a break. And so I saw where they're getting, I think it's 6 less practices
yes.
in the August the preseason, but yet you can practice them a little bit more than that earlier and spread it out.
Yes.
I think that's a fantastic idea. They always said before, Tony, it costs too much money to spread it out like that, to have your kids here and have putting them in pads and all the different things. And now they don't care about the money anymore. So let's take care of the kids. I always thought that was dangerous, the way we put them out there and not give them enough breaks.
Mini camp, Watson, is what you're talking about in the spring. You'd run like a little mini camp like the NFL does.
I would probably put some pads on that though. In my mini camp, I don't think they completely pad them. They may do it now. I don't know, but I would. I think those 10 days of nothing but fundamentals, and you don't get into your game plans. You don't get deep into your systems. You go out there and block and tackle, and you teach them fundamentals. And I would start with that, and then in the summer, spread that thing out and have me another 10 or so, but spread it out through July and August, and I'm not killing my kids.
Walk me through the thought on that, because I'm going to get Sean's take on this too. But so you're talking about doing like a little bit of something in the spring, Is the idea there, because now we're in portal, everything's going to be portal heavy, so you're not going to know what you had. Sometimes you're going to go to the store and shop for something and get it home, and you're not going to like the way it tastes. That's how all this stuff works.
But Tony, it's their call. They can do what they want. If
Yes.
that's what they're worried about, then do more in the spring. Each coach would get to do it the way he wants to do it. And I can tell you right now, I can take players out there for 10 full days of practice and pads, and I'm going to pretty much know what each kid can do. I can tell you that right now. That would be the ultimate goal. The ultimate goal is teach my kids fundamentals and find out who can play. And then we go from there. And what else do we need to bring in or whatever? But as far as the practice, I really like where they're headed here. I hope it passes.
Hey, Sean Sinclair, you were in the guts of one of these back in the day when spring practice was nuts. But spring practice has sort of lost its, I don't know what the term is. This is an interesting thing they're going to attempt to do. It's almost like they're trying to mimic what goes on at the professional level. Your thoughts on this suggested change here, Sean?
Well, I'm going to surprise you. I think they should add more days. I'd give them 30 days, and you can split it up any way you want. If you take a look at spring practice back in the 80s,
right?
You know, there was a lot of. I remember us in the cage handing out shirts that say "I hit for 20," meaning that I was around for all 20 days in pads or whatever. It's kind of a little reward. I hit for 20 on a T-shirt. But now spring practice is usually it's missed by a lot of your upperclassmen. They have cleanup surgeries. They're nursing injuries. There's so much turnover that you got a new weightlifting coach in there, strength and conditioning. The kids are building themselves back up. It's a year-round thing. Before anyone says, "Well, hey, what are you adding more tax to these kids?" Come on, these kids are millionaires. They're 100,000aires. You got second and third teamers making over 100,000. I lose my sympathy somewhat to the extra work because now you're a professional athlete. But I think that coaches want what's best for them in the fall, and I think they're the best barometer of how, or the best mediator of how to do those little, how, like Coach says, use 10 here, use 20 there, use 30 there, et cetera. Spring practice was meant to be a thing where let's see how tough you are. Oklahoma drills, bull in the circle, whatever you want to call it. And then, but now it's a lot of install. We're not hitting as much. So I really like it. Another thing is, as students are so transient these days, the more you have control of them, likely the more you have them in some kind of class, working toward their degree. My big concern is with all this movement around. Nobody talks about, how many credits are lost, from these constant transfers. I still am kind of old school. I'd like these kids to get a degree because I think that's going to help them a lot more than, practice or playing football. So just one man's opinion.
Watson, what do you think? He says give them more practices.
I'm not either way on that. Adding a few more, I just want to make sure there's enough time between practices that we just don't go long periods of time with no breaks. That's my biggie. We go out there in August. Now it's even into July, but we go out there in August in the day, and we got to get 27 in 28 days before you play. That's what you get, and you feel like as a coach, if I'm not using my days, I'm losing out here. And they were never off the field. It went too long and pull muscles and just way too much. You get tired, and then other kind of injuries would pop up. Heat exhaustion. Birmingham was brutal. It's humid and real humid. And we were taking 2 or 3 linemen to the hospital. Wasn't 2 blocks away. We were taking 2 or 3 linemen to the hospital every practice. In those I never felt like we were ever not in condition to go play somebody in the heat because it's brutal there, more than any place I've ever been. That was the hottest place. So I worry more about that. But putting them in a class, having them in some kind of class. I like to, in my latter years, I had a class to teach them life, how to write checks, how to do this, how to do that. And every freshman had to be in that. So I'm with Sean 100%. One thing I'm worried about, guys, is we're forgetting about education. That's what this started out to be.
It's a joke.
Let's educate these kids. Let them play football. It's what they do good. Let them earn their scholarship by doing it. But when they leave here, let's make sure they got a degree and they're ready to step out in the real world. And this transfer portal scares me to death because you're bringing in so many. They're not there 6 months to a year, some of them, a lot of them.
Yep.
And what's transferring in, like Sean said, how many hours are they bringing in? But that's not the reason they're coming is education anymore, and that scares me. I'm going to throw out one that I'm 100% behind. I think there ought to be a percentage of transfer portal kids you can bring in, and you have to percentage of high school kids because I see some of the better schools, bigger FBS schools now signing more high school kids again, which is great. But I think everybody ought to have signed high school kids, and you can bring in a percentage of transfer kids. And that's what I would be 100% behind. Guys,
how about
10,000, nearly 600 FBS and FCS football players in the portal in 2026. 10,600 in the transfer portal for football. My gracious, 40% of those didn't get signed anywhere of FBS players. 60%, over 60% of the FCS players did not get signed anywhere.
When Watson
so
Brown,
this thing ain't. Yep. Oh gracious, you couldn't hear all that?
I love it. No,
Tony.
The bionic elbow. No, I heard you. You come with the bionic elbow. You're right.
I'm just telling you, we've got to get back to education, and you can't be on education if you're bringing in high percentage of transfer portal kids. So that's the way I feel about it. I think there ought to be a percentage of transfer portals you could bring in, and the rest percentage need to be signed out of high school or junior college, either one.
Rhonda Hart-Vall says it's a great idea. Nick Jackson says they need to do that, not in the SEC, but the entire country. And that's what Watson's talking about. And you know what that would do? That would force these guys to manage their rosters properly. Because now, one thing Watson said, and see how animate he got? Because one thing he told me early on is there's no more rebuilding. If you make mistakes in recruiting now, you don't pay the price for those mistakes. You just flush those guys, and you go get new guys.
Yes, and that's wrong. That's wrong. That's not fair. That's on the coaches. If they bring in the wrong ones, it's not. You brought them in. If the kid's trying and he's not good enough, I never cut one for that. I never did. Now, if a kid ain't trying or something, I'd cut him. But if I make a mistake and the kid's giving me all he's got in his heart and soul, how is it fair for me to go cut him and bring in another one? So I'm against that 100%. So that I'd love to find a way to control that better.
Cinco, you being a recruit, Nick, talk to me. What do you think about the concept of putting like a mathematical formula together where this is the number of freshmen you have to sign, this is a number of JUCO kids, or can sign. Yeah, that's even better. What do you think, Sean?
I kind of like it. It's with college football, it's unprecedented, but in a lot of places have that. In foreign soccer leagues, you can only have so many, or in basketball leagues, you can have only so many outsiders because they want to protect the state or the nation's product and develop those players. I think there is something to that, but my concern with that would be the NIL component, because I certainly wouldn't, if I'm a head coach or an administrator, I certainly wouldn't want to have to pay high school kids big NIL money, knowing full well that they aren't going to be there in 2 years, or I'm just paying a ton of my budget on kids that aren't going to play just because there's a number directive.
Watson, our next topic, and I love this idea. They're talking about no more soft opening to the season. Here you wait all year, okay, for college football. And these are your week 0 games. You guys tell me where I say a game you're excited about, okay? Stop me. Stop me when I say a game you're excited to watch. This is week 0. The best game on week 0 is North Carolina and TCU in Dublin, Ireland. The next game that's on that day is San Jose State at USC. The next game that's on at 3:30 on ESPN Eastern is NC State at Virginia. The next game that's on is Jacksonville State at North Dakota State, 5:30 Eastern Time. Sacramento State, a.k.a. Sac State, at Eastern Michigan, 6:30 over on ESPN+. Hawaii is at Stanford, 7 o'clock on the ACC network. I forgot Stanford's in the ACC. That's idiotic. New Mexico State at Florida State, 7 o'clock on the CW. And then capping off your week 0 this year, Memphis at UNLV, 10 o'clock on Fox. Watson, just one point here, and that is this. What's the point of that being week 0? Why are you playing any games if that's your schedule? And what they want to do with this proposal is anybody can play on week 0, and let's have a full slate and start the season then. Thoughts on that?
I love week 0. I think this moving the schedule up a week, getting everybody playing. I wish everybody had to play on week 0.
Yep.
And that can give you an open date somewhere in the year, and it would also let you move the playoffs up because I don't like them getting deeper and deeper into the winter. So yeah, I'm a big week 0 guy. You want better games? All you got to do is get ESPN and Fox and everybody to go pay to get better games. If you go to Tennessee and say, look, I want you to, and I'm going to give you a year here to get it done, but I want you to play this non-conference team that's on your schedule, but I want to move it up to week 0. You think they wouldn't do that? Of course they will. They were going to get more money out of it. You want better games, and TVs control that. Just throw the money to these places, and they'll pop it out. If you don't give them the money, they're going to. I would want to open as a coach with somebody I'm better than to get all my players playing, see everybody.
Yeah.
Get all the nerves out of the way quick, and then let's get going from there. So if you give me the opportunity as a coach, I want somebody I'm better than to play right out the gate. But if you're going to pay us good, that changes the whole lot of the thing.
Well, here's my thing. What does the NFL do? Okay, I think about this, right? The NFL takes on their week 0, okay? The NFL for their opener will have a Super Bowl rematch on a Thursday night.
Absolutely.
When they make theirs, or a great game. What kind of sport, Watson, takes a fan base that's waited all year for their product and gives them direct like that? Those 9 games, I mean, 3 or 4 of them are kill games. The 1AA game, the South Dakota State game, is the one I would look at. Or, Brian, did they move up a level? Or are they still 1AA?
North Dakota State moved up. I don't know. South Dakota State
No,
didn't,
South Dakota State
North Dakota State
did not.
did.
See, I would look at that. I think that'd be a competitive football game. The other ones, I mean, okay, NC State and Virginia, you know, my son's dating a sweet young lady who's a Virginia grad, their Virginia family. I'll watch that. I mean, North Carolina and TCU in Dublin, Ireland, I thought we're trying to grow the game. Why would you want to expose a continent to a football game like that? No offense. I mean, what are we doing? But the great Watson Brown. Watson, all right, on the way out here, I'm going to give you your 5,000-mile checkup here. Are you ready?
Yeah.
How much World Cup soccer have you watched, if any?
I've watched only our teams play. Our team play. That's all
Okay.
I've watched.
Got an assignment for you.
Okay.
The next time you see that France is playing, I'll text you when they're playing next. I think it's
Text me. Yeah, I'll turn over.
Saturday. It's Saturday in Philadelphia. you will see a guy named Mbappe who plays for them, and there's 3 guys on their club. One guy attempted a bicycle kick yesterday, he hit the post with, which was incredible. I want you to tell me the footwork that these guys have in tight quarters. Friend of mine who's a longtime coach and a kind of a soccer hater almost happened to have that on yesterday when this guy scored. And he texted me and said, that is incredible, world-class level athleticism, the way that kid was moving his feet. And Sean, he's talking about the goal where he put it on the far side of the goal, the first one he scored. Describe that to Watson Brown, like, because this guy said that kid has great running back feet. Sean is what he said. He said that guy is so elusive. Describe it to Watson, the goal, Sean. What we're talking about here.
Well, Coach, it would have been like if you were watching a back go through tire drills or ladder drills. He's on the we'll call it, if you're looking at the goal left side, he's going to the end line. He cuts back to the right with 2 defenders right on him. Literally, they could have touched him. And he manages to work the ball through them in tight corners and still in motion, no delay, no nothing, just rockets a shot into the goal. It would have, the balance it took, the coordination it took, were unbelievable.
I got to see it. I got to hunt that up. I want to see that. But as an old man now, Sean, I would go back and say both of my kids were college athletes. So I would go back and say, man, play soccer when you're young. Boy, are you developing so your feet and your hips and the athleticism. It's boring young, but I would dang sure want my kids playing it if that's, and they both did accidentally, but they did, but not for very long. But I think that is, I don't know if there's a better way to develop, get your feet going and your athleticism going and the quickness and the reaction type things than soccer is.
Well,
Watson,
if you guys remember,
Yeah.
Akeem Olajuwon, just a freak of a center. I mean, he wasn't even a traditional center at 6'10", 6'11", but he attributed a lot of his success to playing soccer early in childhood before he had the big growth spurt.
Soccer
and
goalie.
he's probably I'm sorry.
Yep.
I'm sorry,
No,
but
you're
he's
fine.
probably I was there with him. I was at Rice when he was at Houston. So I saw them a lot. And he's got the best feet of any big man I think that's ever played.
He could flat out move. He was absolutely
so
cat quick.
So athletic. So athletic to be that big. So athletic.
The only thing that rivaled him was young Shaquille O'Neal, who could catch the ball and dunk it all in one motion. Those two guys were so explosive. And
in
quick
different
with their
ways.
Feet.
In total different ways.
Yes.
Shaq didn't have the feet that Olajuwon had, but his brute strength and height and athleticism with that. I stood next to him when I went to Mississippi State and they played LSU and got on the floor, met him, shook his hand, stood next to him. Biggest human being I've ever seen in my life. You don't know how big those guys are until you stand next to them.
If I could give one sports sermon, Watson, it would be this. Parents that are listening to me, if your kids show athletic ability, get them in several sports. Do not specialize. Let them develop their total body. Don't burn them out. When they're in high school, later in high school, if they want to specialize, when the colleges start showing interest, do it. Fine. And even then, you might want to consider letting them play a couple of sports just to kind of keep them interested and all that stuff. But let the kids play. They're not professionals. Let the kids enjoy themselves. Quit playing into the money culture of this specialization, which all it does is grease the pockets of people. Let them play multiple sports. It's good for them. It's good for them.
You nailed it, buddy. You nailed it 100%. Agree with that 100%.
Watson, I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Love you guys. Always an honor.
And my friends at Simpson's Meats, I want to shout you out because I'm going to tell you right now, they've got a butcher shop located off Level Road. They're unbelievable, Andy. look, you're going to pay more for Simpson's meats, but you, whether it's the chicken or any of the other wonderful fare they have there, the steak is you walk in that place and you give that place a sniff and a whiff, and you'll know that you'll be coming back again and again and again. Online at simpsonsmeats.com. Watson Brown appears on your high noon hotline. And let's, without further ado, bring my man Cam in. Cam will tell you. Cam's a soccer guy. It's great for kids to play multiple sports. U of FC Alliance. We like well-rounded athletes, don't we, Cam?
Oh, absolutely. We see it all the time. Kids at the younger ages, they play soccer, baseball, basketball, football, and they just develop so much more coordination and athleticism than people that just stick with one sport from, the very beginning.
And here's what I'll say to any parent listening to me. The essence of sport is manipulating yourself in space. Whether you're playing basketball, whether you're playing soccer, whether you're playing baseball, whether you're playing football, it's learning how to move in space versus an opponent. It's body control. It's ball skills for wide receivers in football. Cam, Sean and I were talking a moment ago, and this Mbappe guy yesterday, and what they did to Sweden.
He is different.
Talk to me.
So it's crazy to think that this is his third World Cup, and he's one goal behind Messi for most World Cup goals all time, and Messi's played in 6. I mean, this dude's probably got 3 left in him after this one. And he plays on a better team than Argentina. I know Argentina won, but France is always going to be a better team historically than Argentina. He's got 3 more World Cups. I think that Messi record is gone probably by the end of this World Cup.
Hey, Sean, the point he's making is there are more guys on that field capable of scoring for France, right? And yet this guy is still out there just bagging them. And I'm telling you, yesterday, hey, Sean, I'm serious now. If people didn't watch that game, he could have had 4 yesterday, Sean, if he would have. One was called back due to an offsides. And I'm going to tell you guys, to the naked eye, it looked like he was way offsides. When they went to the replay, he was like by a matchbook cover offsides. It was so close. So close. The guy's so athletic.
It's crazy, and he's the only thing that can stop him. When he was with Real Madrid and we see other places along his career, the thing with him would be he's so good that he often got bored, and you wouldn't catch him. I mean, it's if he would play like this all the time. I love you, Messi. I love you, Ronaldo, but there would be no comparison. Because again, this, as he just said, he's just different. He's way different, and everybody knows it.
Yeah, and Cam, you play professionally, right? And I'm watching those high-level players from Sweden, and some of those guys are young kids, but that one defender he beat for that first goal where he put it in the far post, first of all, the keeper has 0 chance. We were just talking to Watson Brown, who's a football guy, doesn't watch sport. And I told him, I said, I want you to watch this guy when he's on the field in Philly, because they're going to draw a team that he's going to be able to probably exploit with his footwork. Any coach in any sport, anywhere, anyhow, when he watches that guy, will know that's a world-class level athlete, because the footwork and the way he can manipulate that ball through space. At full speed.
At full speed.
That was crazy yesterday. He was in his bag
of technical
yesterday.
People, but he's the fastest player in the World Cup. They've checked all the metrics. He's the fastest one. He's reached the highest speed, and he does all of it with the ball. He reached the highest speed of the World Cup with the ball at his foot, which is crazy.
I mean,
another thing about him is interesting to me is you'll see players try to pull that stuff off. But he and Messi, I think, and it may not be talked about much, but to me, their superhuman power is not only speed and not only the ball control, foot-to-ball control, but it's their body control and their balance. Because that first goal would have would have spilled most professional players, or he would have lost control of the ball, ran into one of the defenders, but he made it look easy.
No, I'm telling you. And then this World Cup and these knockout games, Cam, have totally, completely delivered. Now, the Mexico thing was kind of a bummer last night because the game was delayed late and it didn't start till like 10 o'clock. And, I mean, you're going to lose a lot of people there. And Ecuador didn't have their form and they got kind of rolled in the first half and that game was over. But these games have been extremely compelling, Cam. Yes or no?
Well, I think we're getting to the point where a lot of people were concerned that we had too many teams and we shouldn't have third place teams going through. And when you look at who's qualifying and who's going through in third place, I mean, we've got third place teams making it into the round of 32 or round of 16. So I think that it's different, but all of the games have been exciting so far. Brazil, Japan, Brazil comes back from 1-0 down.
Yep.
Paraguay knocking out Germany in penalties I don't think anybody had that on their bingo card. Morocco to take down the Netherlands in penalties. Norway to beat Ivory Coast. And you've got Holland. You kind of see that coming, but Holland is putting on a show as well. I think he scored in every game so far. And then we've already talked about Mbappe at France. I think that it's been more exciting than I thought it was going to be. I thought a lot of those games were going to be blowouts, and they actually went the other direction. So that's even cooler to watch than just watching the best team beat everybody all the time.
I agree with that. And Sean, you made that point earlier because I was dumping on how non-competitive some of the early games are. And Sean said, look, it's more soccer to look at. And it's summer. And this thing is carrying our summer for us. And it's a great event anyway. And for a lot of the African nations, it was wonderful for them to get their first point in the deal, or some of them got a result. Ivory Coast gave a great account for themselves. The truth is, it looks like the world is developing more high-level players, and it looks like the sport around the world, Cam, is really improving. Or am I seeing things?
Well, I think it's definitely improving, and one of the reasons it's improving is because a lot of people forever only thought soccer is played in Brazil, England, France, Germany, and we never even considered the Asian countries. We never considered the African countries. We didn't really consider all of the South American countries. It was just Argentina, Brazil, and, Colombia maybe. But now we're seeing that the people are getting scouted younger, so they're going to play at better academies around the world. And we've got players like there's a Congolese player that's playing in England, you know what I mean? And that kind of stuff used to just not happen. There weren't scouts looking at the small countries and trying to bring them into the big clubs. So as technology is going on and social media and scouting gets better, all of these small countries can now send their top players to top academies and top clubs, and then it just makes soccer better as a whole. So I think it's definitely getting better, and I actually, for someone that doesn't love technology, I think all the social media stuff is actually why the smaller countries are getting better at such a fast rate. They always had good players. Yeah. It's just getting them seen.
The tournament has far exceeded my expectations thus far. Now, tonight's game, 8 o'clock Eastern start, Bosnia, Herzegovina. You tell me what this is going to look. You've nailed this thing so far in the tournament. You've nailed it every step of the way. What's this game going to look like tonight, in your humble opinion?
Well, I'm going to start by saying this. If we lose this game, that is catastrophic because of all the momentum that we've built. And I don't think we will lose the game. I think if we play how we should play, it should be a 3-0 game. If you look at the way the Bosnian fans have been supporting, every game has felt like a Bosnia home game. And I feel like the USA fans are going to be the minority in the stadium today. And coming off of a loss, I know it wasn't our first team playing. We kind of messed up our momentum, and then we play against a team that has the most passionate fans possibly in the whole tournament. I think it's going to be a harder game, but if we can score the first goal, I think we'll be okay. 3-0, 3-1 win, and I think that would be my bet.
Sean, did you disagree with the number of subs they went with? And because I've heard some other people say they kind of screwed up their momentum. They should have gone at least with some more regulars out there, hammer down. And then if you want to play more bodies, play more bodies. Did you disagree with what they did, Sean, or did you agree with it?
I guess I'm somewhere in the middle. You just can't at the group stage. You cannot risk a second yellow card for a knockout stage game. You want to get some of those young guys in there because for one reason is we are so dependent and have been on dual citizenship kids. If you don't get some of those younger kids in there, it might be harder to recruit some of the German American or what have you kids to come play for the U.S. men's national team. But I'd like to add one other thing is you're talking about how soccer's getting big. The fact of the matter is that with all the money that's coming in, where you can see games now in the South American leagues or the Mexican leagues or the Eredivisie or the La Liga and some of these things, it's gotten more money and it's allowed stars to go elsewhere. Pulisic, I'm a Chelsea fan. I've been for a long time. He can't handle Premier League soccer. He just can't. He would never be fit because he's so frail. But he can go to Italy and play really well because it's a totally different style. And that allows him to develop over there and showcase his stuff when he gets to the World Cup for the men's national team. So I think it is exploding. I really do. And I'm glad that we're getting more choices to watch different soccer around the world.
Cam, you're firing me up. You're focusing me and you're preparing me by calling the 3-0 shout out here. Here's the truth. The game the other night, even with the subs, even knowing that the U.S. was through, did 22 million, which, to put it in perspective, more people than watched the Southeastern Conference Championship game, more people than watched games 1 and 2 of the NBA playoff. We're talking like huge numbers. Tonight's game could go north with the holiday upon us, could go north of 30 million or so. Stay alive through the July 4th weekend, which is what Cam's talking about. And that would be in the round of 16 to get to the quarterfinal in the world with it being played on your soil. We're talking about, and that would be against Belgium, right, guys? Is that right? We're talking about a number that could be unbelievable in our country if they could stay alive into the next round, Cam. It's so imperative that they do that. Here's my thing. How much pressure you think is on those kids now? They know this. They know they're carrying maybe the fate of the sport in our country. That's kind of a lot to deal with, I would think.
Yeah, definitely not something most people think about. But when you get to this point, and especially when you're hosting, I think the host countries have the luxury of not having to travel as far. I mean, I think all of their games have been in LA, if I'm not mistaken. So they're just kind of hanging out in LA with nice weather and they're not really flying anywhere. But the pressure of winning in front of your home fans and the families and all the people that are going, yeah, if America can go here or if USA can make it to the quarterfinal, you hear everything. You're not away from the media. Like the people from South Korea, they might not be even hearing the media because they can turn their phone off. Everywhere the team goes, they hear it, they see it, they feel it. So the pressure is definitely bigger for the host country. Mexico has been doing a great job of handling that.
Yes.
USA, I think we're doing a good job of it. We've played better soccer than I've watched us play for a long time.
Yes.
But I do think the pressure is why we have to score the first goal. If we don't score first, I could see us getting us into a little bit of a fist fight and turning it into an ugly game and not playing our way. If we can score first, I think the pressure goes away. But
Celtic
all of
Drew
the pressure
also
changes on the first goal.
Celtic Drew also said that if you score first, they have to change their tactics, and all of a sudden they start pushing a little bit, and that's when you can get a couple more if they can get loose, or at least get out to 2-0. So the first goal, the first little bit is going to be really interesting. The other thing about the Belgium match is that it's going to be in Seattle, and I'm going to tell you this about that Seattle atmosphere. There's nothing like it. That whole 12th man thing that exists in football exists in that stadium. That is wild. That sport, when the Sounders play there and they're really playing for something, they're impossible to beat in that building. That will be wild in that place, Cam. The way those seats go way up into the sky and they're right on top of the players, that's a crazy stadium for that sport, Cam. That's a great scene when they play in Seattle. Oh, it's
the way
amazing.
they built it, it just radiates noise. And you hear
Oh,
people in MLS all the time talk about how it's a hard place to play. And even, I mean, the South American teams or Central American teams that come up for CONCACAF Champions League, they always talk about how hard it is to play in Seattle. So if we could get there and we play a game in Seattle and we've got our fans behind us, I think that would be a nice bit of home field advantage, kind of like Mexico's been having in La Azteca.
by the way, Celtic Drew thinks Senegal is going to give Belgium. He thinks I'm putting Belgium through prematurely. Do you agree with that?
I actually think Senegal is better than Belgium. Belgium has better players if you line them up player for player. But the last couple World Cups, Belgium has really underachieved. And I think that they're the oldest team in the World Cup, if I'm not mistaken, like average age. And the Senegalese people, I think, will just blow them off the field athletically. That's what Belgium's always struggled with is really athletic teams. And Senegal is exactly that.
And one final thing for you, which is a great compliment to the development of players that we're seeing. MLS, at one time, their World Cup representation was 7 players. Steve Parker says this year the number is 41, and it's growing. And these leagues are having players that are being found all over the place. It's a really cool development, Cam, isn't it? What's going on here in the sport?
Well, it's just people are finally paying attention. And it all started with David Beckham way back when he came to LA Galaxy. But now that we've had bigger players like Zlatan, Messi, Suarez, David Beckham, son that plays in LA, now that these European, world-class players are coming here to finish out their career, it brings more eyes and then it brings more money. So then they can go out and invest and kind of like we spoke about earlier, look in the smaller places and look for players and take more risks. And then by doing that, other good players want to play in that league. So it just grows from everything. But it started with Beckham coming over here, getting attention on the league. And then it's slowly just gotten better and better. And now that we have, a team that people want to play for with the U.S. national team, not everybody's trying to leave MLS right away. Like Pulisic left America when he was still as a teenager, I think, because no one wanted to play in the MLS. Now the league is getting good enough and people want to play in front of Messi and those guys so that they don't immediately look to leave as soon as they're allowed to. They actually want to stay and play in our league, which is a good thing.
Cam Schneider, you're growing the beautiful game. It's unbelievable. Tell the living listener about what you guys are doing in 3 locations around East Tennessee and growing at FC Alliance. Talk to me.
Yep. So we've got obviously the main branch here in Knoxville with FC Alliance. We have FC Alliance North up in the Tri-Cities, and now we have FC Alliance Plateau over in Crossville. We've got over 550 college commitments since 2011, and we're just trying to continue doing the right thing. Develop players, get them off to college, and hopefully if we can get them on to pro after that, we'll help them with that as well. But just trying to raise kids through sport, teach them the right stuff, and then obviously use soccer as a platform to get them to achieve what they want to achieve later on.
Cam, you're the man. Much love to you. I love you,
bro.
Appreciate you, brother. Yeah, enjoy the game tonight. Enjoy all the action today. It's absolutely next level. We come back on the other side. It is unbelievable. Adam Sparks joins. Tennessee's having an odyssey with Adidas. Today is day 1 of the new Adidas deal, but it's not available. Adam Sparks is going to unpack that for us. He wrote a great story on how meticulous Tennessee's being with Adidas. They want to, dare I say, get it right. Get it right. Because White wants to get it right. as we continue. It is your Tony Basilio show on a Wednesday as Cam Schneider appears on your high noon hotline. Make high noon a part of your America 250 celebration. Maybe you want to pop one open today for NIL turning 5. It feels like NIL's 50, but I act like I'm 5. See what we did there? As we continue with more and great Sean Sinclair after this. God, we talked a lot of kickball.
You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville, and W289CU Knoxville, Fan Run Radio.
Tona B, inviting you to experience the Collins Insurance difference. And what's that? How about multiple top carriers that you can trust? Like Erie, they underwrite our entire Rainier studio and everything around it. Travelers, Hartford, Hanover, Progressive. We do what's right because we care. In today's technology-driven world, maintaining the human touch, Bruce Springsteen, is one of our main focuses. We deliver the best customer service humanly possible. We give you someone that you can actually call or sit in front of. Imagine that. No call centers here. Experience the Collins Insurance difference. Check them out at collinsinsurantetn.com, and they're Mrs. B approved. Collins Insurance. TB with a few serious questions. You feeling tired? Foggy? You gaining weight? Or you just don't feel like yourself anymore? Hormone therapy is finally becoming mainstream, but it's truly something my man, Dr. Tom Rogers, has been doing for over 20 years. Dr. Rogers at Performance Medicine wants you to feel your best, and he treats both males and females. So, guys, we can do this as a family. At Performance Medicine, hormone therapy is personalized to you. If you're dealing with hot flashes or mood swings or low energy, decreased libido, fatigue, muscle loss, stubborn weight gain, it might be time to find out what your body really needs. No shame in this game. You can do something about all the above. Performance Medicine offers customized hormone treatment plans based on comprehensive lab testing with options like pellets, creams, patches, oral medications, and injections. The goal is simple. Help you feel like yourself again. Next level. Make your life better. Take it to the higher plane. Visit performancemedicine.net. Schedule your consultation today. You'll feel your best with Performance Medicine.
Big news, Basilio family. Get ready because the 2026 Knoxville real estate market is officially shifting into high gear. All signs are pointing toward a record-breaking year, and the energy across East Tennessee is absolutely electric right now. Whether you've been dreaming of finding that next home, looking to capitalize on your current equity, or ready to dive into the investment world, the timing has never been better. Having a game plan is the key to winning in this fast-paced market, and I'm ready to help. Give me a call, Jennifer Morris, at 865-694-5904, or reach out at nextmovesmokymountains.com. That's nextmovesmokymountains.com, and go Vols.
Basilio here with the great Chad Stockton of FC Alliance. And Chad, I can hear it in the background, brother. It's World Cup season, and you guys are in the middle of it. Talk to me.
We are excited. Our U9 through U12 trials just kicked off today for our locations in Knoxville and in Johnson City. So we're ready to offer any player top-level competition, top-level training anywhere they want to be in Northeast Tennessee. In our programs, we offer competitive play for anywhere from 9-year-olds to 19-year-olds. We've got two locations. Our location in Knoxville is kind of our home base, and our location up in Johnson City in the Tri-Cities area is our FC Alliance North. Both locations are growing tremendously, and we're excited about what the future holds here at both locations.
Growing the beautiful game in the season of the World Cup. Chad Stockton, how can folks get more information?
Go to our website, FC Alliance or FCAllianceNorth.org. And both locations, we're happy to serve the beginning player or the more experienced player, because what we will promise is the top-level training and top-level leagues that we can play in for all of our players.
growing the beautiful game in Knoxville and now also in the Tri-Cities FC Alliance. Thank you, Chad Stockton.
Thanks, buddy.
Okay, so we really need uniforms and equipment for this season. Can I trust you with that? Cool, I'll just order them online. What? Yeah, I'm gonna hop online and I'm gonna get them ordered. Hold up, that's not a good idea. We shouldn't just spend money on some random online retailer, okay? I mean, it seems pretty convenient. Trust me, it's a terrible idea. Let me simplify this for you. SM Athletics. Okay, how do you pronounce it? SM Athletics? They're the go-to for uniforms and equipment, whether it's for universities, high schools, youth leagues, you name it. So why wouldn't you rather go with professionals who can guide us through the process, design the perfect uniforms, and deliver the best equipment? Yeah, I guess that makes sense. What's the name again? SM Athletics. Right. It's definitely smarter to go with a company that emphasizes customer service, fair pricing, and, of course, excellent products. Exactly. So, yeah, I guess it's settled then. For uniforms and equipment for all sports, it's SM Athletics.
When a dangerous, overgrown, or storm-damaged tree is threatening your home, your car, or your family, don't risk it. Call ECR Total Landscapes, your local tree-cutting experts. From precision tree removal and trimming to emergency storm cleanup, ECR Total Landscapes has the equipment and the experience to get the job done safely and efficiently. Call today to set up your free estimate, 865-384-2012, or just go online to ecrtotallandscapes.com.
Preparing food for a big gathering can really take it out of you. That's why you need to call Calhoun's and check out their selection of party platters. Whether you're hosting a party for the big game, a reunion, or just an everyday gathering, a Calhoun's party platter is next level. Choose from Calhoun's always excellent chicken tenders, fly with Calhoun's wings, or boneless wings with a variety of dipping sauces, award-winning next-level melt-in-your-mouth barbecue ribs, or delicious spinach artichoke dip, or get one of each. Plus, if you're doing burgers or sandwiches, Calhoun's has lots of side dishes like spinach Maria, baked cinnamon apples, Smoky Mountain baked beans, or creamy coleslaw, available in pints, quarts, and gallons. And to finish things off, pick up one of Calhoun's great desserts to go, including homemade cheesecake or key lime pie. Calhoun's, simply your go-to party headquarters. With 9 locations all over East Tennessee, you can order online and just pick it up. Calhoun's, one of the Copper Cellar family of restaurants, along with Chesapeake's, Copper Cellar, Corner 16, Cherokee Grill, and Smoky Mountain Brewery. Eat local, eat good. Like our 2026 football Vols, score a T3 TD every time with T3 Vodka, Tennessee's premium vodka, handcrafted with passion, precision, and a whole lot of pride. Right here, handcrafted in the majesty of the foothills of the Great Smoky Mountains. Quality around here isn't just a promise, it's a way of life. And T3's filtered 10 times, 80 proof of vodka, delivering a smoothness unmatched. This dedication to excellence has earned T3 Vodka prestigious accolades, like a 5-time gold medal award-winning vodka and your SIPS Consumer Choice Award medal winner as well. Whether you're sipping it neat, on the rocks, mixing your favorite cocktail, T3 Vodka, your choice for a premium award-winning experience. Be like Maury Hanks. Score a T3 TD. Ask for T3 Vodka by name at restaurants and wine and liquor stores today. Drink it neat, drink it right, and score a T3 TD all 2026 long. Tennessee's Premium Vodka, T3, Tennessee's Premium Vodka, distributed by Empire Distributors of Tennessee. TB here for Cedar Bluff Plumbing, a live and local company that's been serving our area for over 32 years and counting, because every customer counts, and I mean no job is too small. Cedar Bluff Plumbing just voted #1 by City View magazine because multiple plumbing experts are on call to serve all your plumbing needs. Chances are there'll be a plumber in your area when you call, and they won't send some salesman to your house. You're going to get a high character, trustworthy, highly trained plumber who will serve you, not like some of these guys that look like they came off the set of America's Most Wanted. Cedar Bluff Plumbing is Basilio tested and approved and will go the extra mile for you because Chucky Mack is a servant of the people and my consigliere to the throne, celebrating over 32 years of serving living volunteers. Cedar Bluff Plumbing. Call 588-4448. That's 588-4448. Cedar Bluff Plumbing.
Nothing makes you realize how much you rely on your air conditioner like a scorching hot day in East Tennessee. You want more than a technician. You want someone you can trust. Schedule Pipe Wrench's $79 AC tune-up now because the heat is here. Our certified technicians inspect, clean, and fine-tune your HVAC system to help it run efficiently and reliably while reducing the risk of breakdowns when you need it most. And while we're there, we can also recommend ways to improve your indoor air quality for cleaner, healthier air throughout your home. For more than 20 years, homeowners across Knoxville, Maryville, Oak Ridge, and surrounding communities have trusted Pipe Wrench Home Services for dependable comfort. And with our same-day service guarantee, you won't be left waiting when comfort matters most. Schedule your $79 AC tune-up today at pipewrench.com. Same-day service guaranteed, or the visit is free. Offer valid on standard systems only. Visit pipewrench.com for details.
TB, back with you. It's unbelievable. Now appearing on your high noon hotline, ladies and gentlemen, the great Adam Sparks makes a return engagement. How we doing today, brother?
Not bad, Tony. Just headed out of Atlanta with the Braves game last night. So, been in Italy and Greece for 3 weeks, in Atlanta now, headed to Washington, D.C. in a few days, and then to Puerto Rico. So we're never home in the summer.
Are you a Braves fan, Adam?
Yeah. My wife is a much bigger Braves fan, but I am a Braves fan. Unfortunately, that didn't go well last night.
Somehow my sillies are breathing down their throats, and I'm not sure how, but the Braves have been kind of, I guess when you get your pitchers hurt, that's going to happen to you, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it started with Strider, but it hasn't gone well. The Braves thought the World Series was won in like mid-June, so they were great until then, but since then, nada.
Yeah, last night's game, they had a real opportunity in the 8th inning and left the bases loaded there and against a pitcher that was really struggling. Hey, Adam, speaking of struggles, Tennessee is trying to get this.
Adam, I believe Tennessee, as we lost Tony, they're not going to reveal the Nike uniforms until next week. If you still got them.
I know that was weird to people. The thinking behind that is they thought it would sort of get lost in the 4th of July long weekend. I don't know. I don't know if that would have happened or not, but they thought if you revealed them now, they were going to do a 4-day reveal, which they're still going to do. They thought if they started revealing them today, they would go into 4th of July weekend. And then at some point, people sort of forget it and lose it. And you'd have a reveal on the 4th of July or the day after. And they were just like, let's put this off to the week after. So it'll start Monday. Orange uniforms on Monday, white uniforms Tuesday, Summit Blue, which is just women's sports. There's not going to be a Summit Blue football. That'll be next Wednesday, and then dark mode Thursday. They're not going to put up the smoky grays yet. They'll do that later in the season. And they thought this would work best because it's the lead up to July 10th, next Friday, which is when everything's going to be in stores and online and all that sort of stuff. So you've seen Penn State's already released, but Tennessee's will be next week.
And Adam, talk about the meticulous nature that they've taken to really get this right, which you elaborated on in your terrific article today.
Yeah, I mean, it's there's that specific Pantone that is the Tennessee orange. You could say, well, just put everything in that Pantone and the orange will look correct. We've all been at Neyland, right, where you're walking around and you're seeing somebody's got the right orange on and then another knockoff T-shirt has like a burnt orange and then somebody else is wearing Clemson orange and you're thinking, how can you not get orange right? But it's not just the Pantone. It's what fabric is it on? Is it on a baseball uniform? Is it on more of a slick football jersey? Is it on volleyball or is something else with Lady Vols? they all, like, the applications are different, and orange also looks different under stadium lights versus daylight on TV versus live. So back in, I guess it was last August, September, right after the deal was signed, Adidas sent Tennessee. First, they showed them a bunch of fabric samples. They did that right off the bat. And then after that, they sent them sort of some prototype mock uniforms. And Tennessee's creative team went out into Neyland and just laid them out there in the sunlight and then under stadium lights. They did that again in Food City Center. They did that in softball stadium, so on and so forth, just to see not what they would look like in an office, but what they would look like actually in the conditions that they would be played in and televised on. So they started that back then. The thing is, usually uniforms take about a year and a half. You do them about a year and a half in advance. Tennessee had to do the 26, 27 uniforms like really quickly. And those were finalized last October. They've been working on the 27, 28 uniforms since about last November.
Wow, that's remarkable. As Adam Sparks joins, the thing about this switch is, and I'm sure you've heard about it, Tennessee fans, they're this thought, it's a misconception. I don't.
Adam, what as we have Tony's connections cutting in and out, how much different can we expect the football uniform to look than what they've been wearing? I guess it was the font was kind of computer generated. It was a different font that Nike brought in. What though, is it going to look more like the block that Adidas had before? Do you think?
Yeah. I mean, that I honestly don't know. The font, I don't know. I think they're going to try to keep them pretty simple. I think one thing that has messed up a lot of uniforms is complicating them. Having new looks look way too new. If you saw the Penn State uniforms that came out today, those are Adidas uniforms. They're very classic. That almost the only difference you can see from what they had a year ago is one had a Nike swoosh on it, and this one has an Adidas logo on it. I don't think you're going to see anything terribly different in the Tennessee uniforms from what you've seen the past few years. Remember, this is the same creative team. So the designs of these Tennessee uniforms that'll be released starting next week were almost 100% created by Tennessee's in-house creative team. They basically, when Adidas came in, Tennessee said, here's the uniform designs, make sure you get the color right. And then the ones that are released next year for 27, 28, that'll be a more collaborative effort between Tennessee and Adidas. But the actual designs that you see that come out next week were created by Tennessee, and they weren't going to look much different whether they were Nike or Adidas. It's just Adidas' responsibility to get the Pantone of the orange correct.
Hey, Adam,
this is Sean. I've got a question for you.
The stuff that's for.
I know it's off the topic here about the uniforms. Could you, much gnashing of teeth and clutching of pearls about Chaz Coleman? What's the real? Obviously, you'd like to have a talented player, but what is the real effect on this team going forward? Because my understanding was that he just wasn't really a full participant basically since he got here.
Yeah, I mean, he was in some workouts in the winter. He was in spring practice for, about a week. I think the funny thing is you've seen like 3 photos of Chaz Coleman in Tennessee orange that have circulated for the past 4 months. All 3 of those were photographed by our photographer on the first day of practice, and that's all that we have. And then so once he bowed out of spring practice about a weekend, very little of him in workouts after that. I think he had a few individual workouts with guys. Not really. I don't think he was at any team meetings after that. He showed up a few days late to report to the summer. Tennessee internally had thought he was not going to play, I would say, since sometime in May. Like this is not a surprise to Jim Knowles. I think if you went into Jim Knowles' office and looked at all the schematics he has of this defense, there's not one of them that had Chaz Coleman's name on it on the board since May or maybe even April. This is a lot of dotting I's and crossing T's about what they were going to, how they were going to present this. I mean, I went on vacation in early June, and I had Chaz Coleman being off the team written a couple of weeks before that, and I thought it would have been released in late May or early June. The fact that they waited this late to do this was almost sort of a legal standard. If you're talking about mental health and medical and things like that, you can't kick a kid off the team and not have a legitimate reason with so much money tied up into it and a sensitive issue like mental health. So that's all this was. And the medical disqualification, that is a mutual agreement. The student athlete has to sign a form that says they are medically disqualified or medically retired. And so they needed that to be taken care of too before they could go forward and say publicly he was no longer part of the active roster.
Hey, Adam, can he unretire?
I believe so. I was supposed to talk to a compliance guy last night about this that I know in the industry. I was at the Braves game, so I didn't have a chance to. I think medically disqualified is pretty similar to medically retired, which the parameters around medically retired is that you sign a form that agrees with the medical assessment that says you're not fit to play right now, but you can remain on scholarship at that school. So if Chaz Coleman decides to stay at Tennessee enrolled, they would, as far as I know, they would pay for his athletic scholarship, but he would not count against the roster cap. But for you to unretire, like Trevor Duncan, who was at Tennessee for about a year or two, he was medically retired, Knox Catholic kid, a lineman. He medically retired and then medically unretired to get in the portal, I think in January. And basically you have to have a medical professional to, I think, come in and say whatever was wrong with you before is now been repaired. So I think Chaz Coleman could. Now, I don't think that could be a quick turnaround to play this fall. But a year from now, if we hear that Chaz Coleman is going to restart his football career, that probably would be like a medical health professional saying whatever was wrong with him before is now in a better spot and he can go play elsewhere. But everything I've heard behind the scenes is that that's not going to happen. I mean, I was told his agency dropped him. There's no anticipation of him having a football career in the near term. So I think that's on hold for at least a year, if not forever.
Might be putting it on wax soon as Adam Sparks joins on your High Noon Hotline. You know, the other thing too, and Sean brought this up, is now they love the Norman kid. They let two guys go. Obviously, that's been talked about ad nauseum. Obviously, if they had a chance to do it over again, they wouldn't have done that. But they're in the spot they're in. You talked about how the defensive coordinator's been known to use multiple fronts, even to the point where he got sideways with the head coach at Ohio State, who loves that 4-3 and is married to it. Adam, what do you think they do from their linebacking core? Who inevitably do you think they sort of use out there to get to the quarterback? What do they do?
Yeah, I mean, I'm curious to see, and I think it'll change a lot from game to game because regardless of what the personnel is, that's what Jim Knowles likes to do. He likes to do a complete reset each week. Look at the opponent, look at the personnel, and figure out a different plan each week of what will work. Jordan Norman, I think the Tulane transfer will play a lot of snaps at edge. I think Marion Dye was maybe going to have a role there anyway. That's an edge rusher / strong side defensive end that I think was maybe going to be in the plan at edge a little bit. Jim Knowles typically likes bigger edge guys that maybe you would think in the past would be more strong side defensive ends. So I think he could be in the works. Tyree Weathersby could play there. Yeah, what you mentioned before, Ryan Day at Ohio State, Jim Knowles, had apparently somewhat of a disagreement back in that national title year because Knowles was experimenting a lot with a three-man front, and Ryan Day said, hey, we're Ohio State. We're known for our four-man front, so we need to go to a four-man front. So they had a little bit of a falling out just over that. At Tennessee, I think Knowles is going to use a four-man and a three-man front both. If he goes with a three-man front, in the past sometimes he'd like to walk up a linebacker, maybe have a 3-3 look, or even a 3-4 and walk up a linebacker into sort of that edge role. I count probably 6 linebackers on this team that could play quite a bit in the rotation, and obviously they don't have room to play 6 guys if they're only putting 2 on the field at a time. I'm curious to see if like a Jaden Perlotti, a guy last year as a freshman who didn't always know where he needed to be, but he was really fast, and he's really explosive, and he was really decisive. You tell him where to go, he's going to go there, and he's going to get there in a hurry. I'd be curious to see if he's like a situational pass rush type guy that they can put in at linebacker but can come off the edge.
And Cinco, that's why we love talking to Adam, because that's a great thought, Sean. You just tell Perlotti, that's the quarterback right there. Go get him. You go get him, son. That makes total sense to me. What do you think,
Absolutely,
Cinco?
and I think the value of Jim Knowles is that he's not necessarily married to one system. He's talked at length about being at Duke and Oklahoma State, and certainly not one of the top 5 recruiting schools there. And he's had to adjust defenses to the talent that he has. Well, that's going to carry forward. If you remember talking about bigger ends, Ohio State, even though they did rush the passer, they did it differently than we have with our Leos, James Pierce. Their outside guys were 6'5", 6'6", 280, 285, but could still move.
Your thoughts on that, Adam?
Yeah, and I think what's going to be interesting is to see, almost a year from now, how that looks in the draft, because you can criticize Tim Banks for a lot of things, but a lot of those are fair. But if you look at those Leos, those edge rushers under Tim Banks, you had Byron Young, one of the best in the NFL right now. You had Pierce, which I know has a lot of off-field issues, but phenomenal as a rookie on the field. Joshua Josephs was a high draft pick. Jordan Ross was going to be the next one until he transferred to LSU. They've had a lot of success with the type of edge rushers they've had. So now they may be transitioning into a different type. We'll see how that works individually versus how that works as a team. Under Banks, they had great edge rusher numbers, but in the games that really counted, and I specifically think about the Ohio State playoff game and the Georgia games, there was no pass rush. So maybe that's an area where a Jim Knowles defense can actually perform better, in the biggest games to have a pass rush. Again, they have linebackers. I think they have ways that they can scheme around this. I will say I have heard from the Tennessee side a little bit of this spin that, losing Chaz Coleman's not that big of a deal. He wasn't here in spring. They went through all these scrimmages without him. He hadn't been part of the plan since March or April. All that's true from a July perspective. But from an off-season perspective, that is an enormous loss, because when they got Chaz Coleman in January, it wasn't just oh, shucks, let's see if he works out kind of thing. They dedicated millions of dollars to that guy. He was going to be their star edge rusher. He was going to be an all-SEC preseason candidate. Losing him is a big deal, because if they knew this was going to happen, they would not have let either Ross or Herring go in the portal.
And speaking of Ross, okay, are you surprised that he's getting first-round buzz from a lot of people?
No. I don't know if he'll be a first-round guy or not, but I thought he was more talented than Joseph. Now Joseph, I think, knew better what he was doing in the scheme, and he went in the 3rd round or something. I always thought Ross looked more like Pierce, just raw ability. I mean, you saw it in flashes. Now, I mean, first round, second round, third round. It depends on how you perform this year. But no, that doesn't surprise me. I was, when I heard Jordan Ross was looking for more money and looking to jump in the market, that's before he went into the portal. I thought, I hope he doesn't go. I'd like to cover him because I think he's going to be a really good player. But if he's just looking for the most dollar value, yeah, he should probably go into the portal because he's a very marketable former 5-star recruit that I think a lot of people look at and think he has a first-round grade if you use him right. I thought Tennessee would probably try harder to keep him, but again, they looked at the new coaching staff and said, "Hey guys, we can get Chaz Coleman, and we get Chaz Coleman cheaper, and Chaz Coleman may be better." We're never going to know that now.
Yeah, and that's kind of it's funny you talking about, and us doing what we're doing right now, which is, hey, they're going to Perlotti, or they've got other choices at linebacker, but then you get in the season and you're getting run over at end, and these teams are kind of mashing you and taking advantage of you. We're going to be pointing to sort of this ill-fated, because at the very least, even if Ross would have left for more money, at the very least, you could have kept Herring here and had I don't know what you would call that, like a credible SEC defensive end, I guess, for lack of a better way of putting it.
Yeah, I think Caleb Herring would have been, him and Jordan Norman would have been looked at similarly, that they are good players that could be better than good. Caleb Herring is a veteran guy, had started games, played a lot of snaps, had also a lot of ability. I don't think was ever going to be a first-round pick, but you would have liked to have kept him. And, that's another of the guys you're going to see on your schedule. Tennessee's going to face Caleb Herring head-to-head, and Jordan Ross and Ricky Gibson and Max Gilbert and all these guys that left that are Lance Hurd that are going to be good players for their new teams, and we'll be able to judge whether or not it was a good idea that they let some of these guys go. Because remember, in the past, in the portal, Tennessee has lost players in the portal that they were perfectly fine with seeing them go, and they didn't pan out at their new school. We'll see more guys now that left that Tennessee thought were good players and still went elsewhere, and a lot of them are going to be on the schedule. I think it's important for my job, I know, to remember these things that happen in the off season and to keep those storylines alive or maybe critique throughout the season. Because losing Chaz Coleman and the decision they made at edge rusher, that's not going to be fixed. There is no summer portal. So whatever the impact is now, the impact is going to be the same in November of what they did or didn't do at edge rusher. Same thing with quarterback with Sam Levitt. You didn't get him. Does that prove to be the better decision or the worst decision? Those storylines should last throughout the season because their impact will last throughout the season.
Adam, really appreciate you taking some time for us. It's always great to spend a few minutes with you. You're continue to kill it, even though you're getting a break here. And boy, do we need a break. Question for you. 5 years of NIL, 5 candles on the cake, Adam Sparks, on my high noon hotline. Quick 5 years or feels like 30? Where are you going with it?
Feels like 30 to me because I covered college football for 20 years in pre-NIL and 5 years in NIL. And I barely remember. When you talk about pre-NIL, it sounds like you're talking about the 1970s. And I would just like it to stabilize to some extent because I think now the storylines that come out about rule changes and how NIL is looked at differently and what you can do and not do and what you can sue over, that changes so much week to week that I think people don't even pay attention. That most people just say, tell me when it's over and we have everything settled because there's no point of paying attention to things that change so often now. So it seems like it's been around forever.
I'll tell you this, it's created unbelievable content, but this nonsense never ends. I'll never forget being on the phone with you and several others during that whole Nico saga. I mean, It is, you talk about never a dull moment. And this Chaz Coleman's like it's just crazy.
Tony, it's never a dull moment, but also when it gets settled, and I don't think it's going to happen, but if I had a magic wand, the one thing I would have in the new system is I want to see the payroll. We've tried in different ways. There's other ways to try. I don't think that's ever going to be solved because legislation has put up roadblocks to seeing the payroll. But that's what I would have changed in the NIL era. I want to see, in terms of content as much as anything, I want to see the payroll because I want to know how much that player got, if he's overpaid, if he's underpaid, where teams are wasting money. We all hear the figures behind the scenes, but you never know them for certain. I would love to cover a game and see an offensive line give up 8 sacks and be able to go directly to the payroll and say, that's the second highest paid offensive line in the SEC, and they just gave up 8 sacks to the 11th highest paid defensive line in the league. That GM needs to be fired, or the head coach, and that's what I would like the next level of coverage to be. Because you get that in the NFL, we don't get that in college football.
Let's go, man. Hey, James Clausen's going to be on here next week with the 5th year anniversary of the deal. He's away this week, but I maybe we can drag it out. Maybe we can drag it out of him next week on the air. Adam, thanks, man, and safe travels to you, brother.
All right, guys, y'all have a good one.
It's pretty next level on your High Noon hotline. In fact, we got one more special guest on the other side. People say, how many calls is Tony? I've had several calls. Cinco, we've lived on the High Noon hotline, haven't we, Cinco?
From rail to rail.
Rail to rail to rail. One of our favorite coaches at UT joins right after this. You got to dream about buying some land and building on that land? Well, Waterside Contracting is your ticket. 25 years of making dreams come true, Michael Scott. For hundreds in our area, custom homes or remodels, Waterside Contracting will build on your lot. They do incredible work all over the area. Structural integrity, quality without compromise. It's a way of life with Waterside Contracting. Check out the wonderful work Waterside does. WatersideContractingLLC.com. When it's time for your dreams to come true. Quality without compromising. Waterside Contracting. He doesn't always drink beer, but when he does, he definitely prefers Dos Equis. That's right. The most interesting man in the world has returned, and he's more interesting than ever before. His phone is addicted to him. All of his teeth, all are wisdom teeth. So raise a Dos Equis to the man, the myth, the legend. And remember, stay thirsty, my friends. Dos Equis, enjoy responsibly. 2026 Cervezas Mexicanas, White Plains, New York.
Located in Knoxville's historic Old City, Barley's offers great food, live music, the best draft beer selection in town, and now your new favorite place to watch sports. Their indoor projector is perfect for any weather, and they've revamped their upstairs area with more TVs to take in all of the action. Their menu features hand-battered chicken tenders, juicy burgers, fresh salads, and the tastiest pizza in Knoxville. You can enjoy their happy hour drink specials daily from open until 6 p.m. Barley's Tap Room and Pizzeria.
Like our 2026 football Vols, score a T3 TD every time with T3 Vodka, Tennessee's premium vodka, handcrafted with passion, precision, and a whole lot of pride. Right here, handcrafted in the majesty of the foothills of the Great Smoky Mountains. Quality around here isn't just a promise, it's a way of life. And T3's filtered 10 times, 80 proof of vodka, delivering a smoothness unmatched. This dedication to excellence has earned T3 Vodka prestigious accolades, like a 5-time gold medal award-winning vodka and your SIPS Consumer Choice Award medal winner as well. Whether you're sipping it neat, on the rocks, mixing your favorite cocktail, T3 Vodka, your choice for a premium award-winning experience. Be like Maury Hanks. Score a T3 TD. Ask for T3 Vodka by name at restaurants and wine and liquor stores today. Drink it neat, drink it right, and score a T3 TD all 2026 long. Tennessee's Premium Vodka, T3, Tennessee's Premium Vodka, distributed by Empire Distributors of Tennessee.
Big news, Basilio family. Get ready because the 2026 Knoxville real estate market is officially shifting into high gear. All signs are pointing toward a record-breaking year, and the energy across East Tennessee is absolutely electric right now. Whether you've been dreaming of finding that next home, looking to capitalize on your current equity, or ready to dive into the investment world, the timing has never been better. Having a game plan is the key to winning in this fast-paced market, and I'm ready to help. Give me a call, Jennifer Morris, at 865-694-5904, or reach out at nextmovesmokymountains.com. That's nextmovesmokymountains.com, and go Vols.
Baseball fans, it's time to step up to the plate. Look your best. Get some new Tennessee gear from Alumni Hall. Alumni Hall has the best selection. Top brands for you to choose from this season. Look, it's nice and warm outside. So get into any of their 6 air-conditioned East Tennessee locations. Shop online, download the app, grab your Tennessee baseball jersey, your hat, your decal, maybe a t-shirt, and they have so much more. Earn $10 in rewards for every $150 you spend. Go Vols and shop Alumni Hall, your ultimate Tennessee shopping destination. Touch them all with Alumni Hall. Basilio here with the great Chad Stockton of FC Alliance. And Chad, I can hear it in the background, brother. It's World Cup season, and you guys are in the middle of it. Talk to me.
We are excited. Our U9 through U12 trials just kicked off today for our locations in Knoxville and in Johnson City. So we're ready to offer any player top-level competition, top-level training anywhere they want to be in Northeast Tennessee. In our programs, we offer competitive play for anywhere from 9-year-olds to 19-year-olds. We've got 2 locations. Our location in Knoxville is kind of our home base, and our location up in Johnson City in the Tri-Cities area is our FC Alliance North. Both locations are growing tremendously, and we're excited about what the future holds here at both locations.
Growing the beautiful game in the season of the World Cup. Chad Stockton, how can folks get more information?
Go to our website, FC Alliance or FCAllianceNorth.org, and both locations we're happy to serve the beginning player or the more experienced player, because what we will promise is the top-level training and top-level leagues that we can play in for all of our players.
Growing the beautiful game in Knoxville and now also in the Tri-Cities. FC Alliance. Thank you, Chad Stockton.
Thanks, buddy.
Out-of-town law firms have been swarming into East Tennessee lately. From Memphis, Chattanooga, and Birmingham, they've stormed into the area. Wouldn't you rather do business with a local firm? You know, a true neighbor. Marcos Garza and the pros at the Garza Law Firm are just that. There are neighbors and friends that support local causes year-round. The Garza Law Firm works to serve you professionally on criminal matters, injuries and accident matters, and Social Security and disability filings. The Garza Law Firm is here for you at garzalaw.com. The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
It's official. It's summer. And how does East Tennessee do summer? With your Knoxville Smokies, of course. Only 5 homestands remaining. So if you haven't been to a game yet, what are you waiting for? This week is a huge week with all-you-can-eat Wednesday, Knox Vegas Thirsty Thursday, Friday fireworks, and then Saturday, we're celebrating our country's 250th birthday. America's favorite pastime and fireworks. Is there a better way to celebrate? And come meet Bluey on Sunday. Don't miss the fun. Get your tickets now at smokiesbaseball.com.
Man, I love me some Bluey, but I love me some Joe Kurt. And I love me some beautiful game. And the head coach of the Lady Vols now joining us, because I'm going to tell you something. This tournament is delivering. And tonight the U.S. has a huge chance, Joe Kurt, a huge chance to really get this thing on the map. A huge opportunity awaits here, and Joe Kurt's going to help us break it down scientifically, moving right to left across your device. Coach, how you doing?
Wonderful. Great time of the year. Every 4 years, it's a special time, and certainly hasn't disappointed, even with the bigger draw in 48 teams. Been some tremendous games and some late moment heroics or disappointment for some of them, and tough one for England right now too. Up against it, down 1-0 to Congo. So yeah, it's been good times. It's been good times.
You know what's wild? They let those African nations in, expanded it, right? And everybody thought, oh, these are going to be, and I was one of them on the front end. Those teams are going to get absolutely hammered. What are we doing? And they've stepped up and played really well. And the games have been, for the most part, pretty competitive. Now yesterday we had a mismatch with France, but France going to do that to a lot of people with the skill they have up front.
Yeah,
man.
Yeah, another
Joe,
level right now.
Joe, but the level of these games, and then the passion of the sport, for somebody like you that has it in your veins, this has got to be just unbelievable watching this.
No, I mean, I remember even watching Messi's first game, the Argentina game in Kansas City, and I think Fox has done a tremendous job of just showing the passion behind it and the fans and the support. And even when you're not in the stadiums, you can see how much it means to everyone that's there. And whether you're, certainly the supporters, but just the passion around the game is tangible even when you're not there. And it's a special event, and you can see it on the players' faces, how much goes into it and how much it means to all of them. So no, it's the pinnacle of our sport for sure, and certainly for the world, really. I mean, obviously you have the Olympics, but this is almost a whole nother level than the Olympics with the team sport. So the whole country behind teams, and some of the teams getting to their first ever knockout wins, and it's some big moments. I know, but the round of 32 is different than the round of 16 getting a knockout win, but it's still a result in the biggest tournament in the world. So we'll see. We'll see if England can break through here, but Germany couldn't do it in the end, and we'll see where we're at. But no, it's been amazing. It's such a fun time of the year when there's not a ton going on in the sports world aside from some baseball. Right. But it's amazing, and it'd be a good one tonight. Be a really good one tonight.
I want to bring in Sean Sinclair on this point too, because we were really, really hard on UT's field goal kicker last year. Who has a couple games on his foot and misses kicks, and that's you have one job, etc. We all know that. Hey Joe, the other night, these guys are world class on Germany's team. There are a couple of really highly paid professional athletes that literally pulled balls wide. Or there was another one the other night in the Holland match where a guy who's a goal scorer, kicks a ball 12 feet over the crossbar. You never see that, but you're seeing it. And these keepers are making saves. You never used to see that, and you're seing it now.
Yeah, I mean,
it makes me consider pressure
stepping up. Stepping up in a big time moment, and other players, like the pressure getting to them, and it is. I mean, it's real. You can't talk about training. You training these situations, these environments, and putting yourself. You can't replicate the pressure that you feel in those moments. Like, there is no replication of that. You're in the moment. You either step up and deliver for your country and your team, or sometimes it just gets to you, and the weight's too much. So there's fatigue in there, especially in the penalties. Like, you got field players that play 120 minutes. There's a lot of fatigue. So put that on top of the mental side of it, and it's not always a recipe for success. And you got goalkeepers who they have no pressure. Like, they're not supposed to make the save, so they can be free. And obviously, they don't have the physical demands that the field players do. So, yeah, there's just so much that goes into it. And you look at the coaches and managers changing. Well, do we sit back a little more? How aggressive are we? What do we do? Do we want to try and sit and counter? So and what the matchups look like. So no, it's fun. There's so many storylines behind it, and the little things in between. It's exciting to see and watch. So we'll see. Hopefully the Americans, the U.S. comes out tonight on the front foot and put some pressure on them. I think for Basilio, Herzegovina, I think it's just limiting their ability to get set piece chances. I think that's going to be the biggest thing for us. If we can limit that, it's not our strength. Certainly defensively, we're not equipped with a ton of 6'4" defenders that sit on the back line and are going to deal with that. So hopefully we can minimize that and not put ourselves in a bad place. And again, take our chances. Done a pretty good job of scoring early. Obviously rested some guys in the last game once we were through. So hopefully they'll get up to speed pretty quickly tonight.
Hey, Joe, they better score first because you don't want to go through what England's going through right now, what Brazil went through, and you do not want to play from behind tonight if you're the U.S. You just don't.
No, that's again the more even staying in it level gives that underdog team more confidence and more belief, but certainly up one, and that's not something that you want to do. So hopefully, and the good news is with the U.S. playing a little bit later here in the knockout rounds, they've seen Germany, they've seen the Netherlands, like they've seen all of those countries and realize that, it can happen. So got to be prepared and got to be confident and be relentless in our attacking. Brazil kept going. Obviously, after scoring the first one, they had to come back, and credit to them. They've got the ability to do it, but don't take your foot off the gas. Hopefully you get the early one, but one may not be enough, especially with all the late time winners, equalizers, all of it. You look at what Morocco did, and
oh man, what a match!
So yeah, and they're a sleeper. That's a really talented team, really talented.
Give me the off top of your head here as Joe Kurt joins. Who are the four best if you had to rank them? Obviously, France is one. Who's anybody in? Has anybody in their class so far that you've seen?
I don't think so. Spain's been inconsistent right now. They have the ability to, in my opinion, like Spain has the quality to do it. They just haven't been able to really get it up and running at full speed right now. I do think, I do. Morocco's a scary team to play, and especially they're matched up against Canada. Canada's not playing at their best. I think they should get past that game. Mexico's been interesting. They're really tough to play at Azteca. That's where their next round game is. They haven't given up a goal. They haven't conceded yet. So I think that's they've found a way to be really successful. And then, after that, it's hard to count out Brazil just because they have so much talent in there. So for me, it's France, it's Spain, it's Morocco, Brazil, and Mexico, and honestly, hopefully the U.S. can keep going. Argentina, geez, I forgot about Argentina. I really think it's France. Hopefully, I think Spain can get it there. They've got enough quality that they can find players to make the game, and I wouldn't count out Argentina either. Forgot about them. I haven't seen them for a bit.
Hey, Joe, on the way out, you'll appreciate this. I encourage Watson Brown, who's done like sport, doesn't watch sport, not hasn't been exposed to it. If you're a sportsman and you get exposed to this and you watch Mbappe play, Sean Sinclair and I were telling him, and you saw that goal yesterday that he scored, that first one after the other one was called back, the world-class footwork, any coach in any sport that watches that athlete would say that is a freak show. That guy was freaky yesterday, Joe.
Yeah, no, I mean, the athleticism, and it's just, it's another level with some of these guys, and he's at the top of it. Like he is, talk about the ability to do it at such a high level. Ronaldo was there earlier in his career, but yeah, Kylian's he's a difference maker, and they got more than just him, which makes it pretty hard. So we'll see, but it's an exciting tournament. I hope everybody tunes in tonight at 8. I mean, it should be an incredible environment out west, and hopefully they come out on the front foot and stay on the front foot.
You're my man. Much love to you. We'll get you on to talk about your team, but thank you for jumping on with us. I hope As we continue to win, you'll keep jumping on with us. You've been a great ambassador for the sport, and thank you, Joe Kurt.
Appreciate it. Enjoy it tonight, and we'll talk soon.
As he appears on our high noon hotline, I thank him. We're going to do some overtime. Our first ever. It's noon somewhere. High noon overtime is coming your way. Say it, know it, and write it down. In the meantime, the great William Pattison is on the way next.
You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville, and W289CU Knoxville, Fan Run Radio.
We'll take a couple calls if you want to get in at 865-200-5402. Hey, Cinco, so, Negative and folks like that are kind of poo-pooing the soccer talk. The truth is, I'm not trying to shove anybody down anyone's throats, okay? Anything down anybody's throats. But the truth is, right now, we're in the dog days of summer. It's an incredible tournament, and I know this for a fact. If people will give tonight's game an opportunity, and he said tonight, do they really call it a crossbar? Yes. 2 posts, 1 crossbar, and a guy that Germany inserted into the game the other night, who's one of their big, huge, long, lanky striker type goal scorers. Usually they serve balls up to this guy to head in, which has been a staple in Germany's attack for years and years on the world level. But do we rethink the pressure on these kids when they're kicking field goals? When you watch, Sean, these world-class guys pull balls from the dot, I mean, the pressure on these people is enormous, Sean Sinclair. You can just see it. It's enormous.
Well, I don't think you just have to equate it with, a field goal kicker. How many free throws at the end of games are bricked? How many 3-foot putts have been stoned, to win a championship? I mean, it goes. I've told the story before. I had a solo coming up in church, and this is a small church in a small town, and I choked the pressure. And it's like 1/1000th, trillionth of what these folks. Pressure's real. I don't care what anybody says. Pressure's real, and when it gets in your head, it's sometimes it's just too heavy, as Coach said. But I'd like to revisit a couple things. You were talking about Jordan Ross. It'd be better to have someone than not have someone. But Jordan Ross would never play at somewhere like Indiana, over when they're looking for production. The guy was here 2 years. He had 1 sack, 2 sacks, maybe. He's known for a blocked punt and then 2 or 3 just boneheaded penalties. I'll remind you, he was a 5-star, but he wasn't a priority for Alabama. And then Auburn came in on him late. Again, the guy looks incredible. He just literally does nothing on the football field. He certainly doesn't play the run. So I can see why they let him go on that deal. Now he may turn out to be he is a Lane Kiffin recruit, no question, and not a Kurt Cignetti recruit.
In other words, Kiffin loves guys. He loves to take the shiny objects and polish them up and stick them on the football field. And Kurt Cignetti would look at that guy and go, he's a potential overproduction guy. I ain't messing with him.
Well, take a look at Nukees Richardson. Take a look at Bryce Brown. There's a ton of good. Yeah, I mean, he wants the loud, shiny, get me attention. I'll be the first to concede that Lane Kiffin's a hell of a coach and he's a hell of a recruiter. So I don't take anything away from that. But yeah, Jordan Ross did nothing in 2 years here. Nothing. I think you could make the argument that the Herring kid was one you might like to have back, just because he did produce a little bit. Now, albeit it wasn't against the good teams. It was he flashed during some of the directional school stuff. But anyway, another thing I'd like to talk about is the pressure. Is the U.S. tonight. They don't have a history of tonight. This is the first time they've ever been favored in a knockout round. They're playing at home. They have the talent to win this game, but that badge they wear has a lot of not so great history in moments like this. So I think they have, and I think just like that, I think history is just as big as pressure. They've got a lot to overcome today, and I'm just glad I'm glad they're playing. Certainly not one of the favorites.
Yeah, they've got a match where people think they're going to win 2 or 3-0. I say nil. I do that for Negative. Because Negative today, the number of quality posts that you've had on this chat is nil.
Well, think about this. In our game, we love.
We sang the beautiful game.
A foot touches the football, what, 5 times a game? Punt and a kickoff and an extra point.
And we don't even kick
I'm
anymore.
not so sure. I'm not so sure it's an apt description of the game that we love.
Dave says Jordan Ross did more than Chaz Coleman, Cinco. What does that even mean, Dave? Okay. So
he did more than
Jordan
me.
Ross
so you're right. You win. I mean, come on, man.
Jordan Ross is though.
That post, and I loved it. I love Dave.
Dave.
That retort was a little bit on brand for what I heard from him all year.
The truth is, the truth about what we need to do with football. Another change I'd make to football is there wouldn't be any more kickoffs, or I would do what the NFL's doing in college football. I would go to that rule the NFL has, or just put the ball to 25 and play. These teams don't punt anymore. They don't punt like they did. Like this whole thing about Tennessee limited punt returns. Everybody limits punt returns. There's no more punt returning and kick returning. And I mean, the game is just, it's interesting to watch football evolve in the computer era. All these changes. Rodney Kraft says Kiffin stacking 5 stars. Lane Kiffin always will be a shiny object guy. That's why Lane Kiffin, there's a chance that his tenure at LSU is really, really great, Sean. There's a chance. There's also a chance it is a major failure because that's who Lane Kiffin is. He's either going to be really, really excellent there or they're going to run his ass out of there in 3 years on a rail. I don't see it being an in-between. He did a really great job at Ole Miss, but the guy lives on the edge. Even in the NIL era, the guy lives on the edge, and he's a highly combustible figure.
Well, his agency and ESPN spent millions of dollars trying to rehabilitate his image with the hot yoga, with sobriety, with the newfound conversion to faith, etc. I mean, they spent a ton of money, his agent, and then that ESPN documentary, how he's the family man now. And he just took a crap on that in about an hour as he was leaving Ole Miss. And so that leopard hasn't changed a spot at all. He will always, he's a great coach. I'll give him that. And he's a great play caller. But he will always love Lane Kiffin more than he will love defense. He will always love Lane Kiffin more than he will love special teams. And he will always love Lane Kiffin more than he does LSU.
No doubt about it. Because that's, at the end of the day, Lane Kiffin's narcissism, which I wrote about today in the blog. I expounded on some of the ones that folks brought up in terms of the That's So Tennessee and did some research on some of them. I didn't realize that Majors lost to a guy whose team went 2-8 while his team went 10-1. You can't make that up. I'm sorry. His Majors team was undefeated in the SEC. Went 10-1. Horning's team went 2-8, and he won the Heisman Trophy. By the way, so today's blog is good. It's got a lot of good history in it. It's got a lot of interesting stuff. I actually spent some time on it not a change. I spent a lot of time doing what I do. I want to shout out my friends at High Noon because High Noon has a line of hard seltzers that's always a winner and always next level. And look, we're going to celebrate America's 250. Do it with High Noon. High Noon's vodka seltzer comes in 14 flavors with real vodka, real fruit juice. It's only 100 calories, no sugar added. It's gluten-free. I love the black cherry. Try the pineapple as well. 14 flavors. That's as many bad takes as I'll have in a week. Look, if you're in the mood for a kick, the High Noon vodka iced tea, 6 refreshing flavors, including peach and lemon, green tea, half and half. If you're feeling adventurous, check out High Noon's tequila seltzer, 6 refreshing flavors, including my favorite, the blood orange. High Noon, real vodka, real fruit juice, live like the sun is always out. And we're brought to you by High Noon Spirits Company. You must be 21 and over, and we encourage you to drink responsibly. Cinco, anything else you'd care to add, or Brian Hartman, anything else you'd care to add? Brian, what's the England score in kickball on the way out here?
They've just started the second half. It's 1-0 Congo.
Whoa. How is my Congo? Those are my guys right there. I've always
this goalie for Congo has made 2 of the best off. He has stoned Bellingham twice off just world-class headers. I don't know how he got to the balls, but and then they had a defender take one off the line to save another goal. But
with his crotch,
I look for England to start getting frustrated pretty quickly, and this could be another upset.
Cinco, how in your face are those fans going to be in England if those people lose to Congo on the world stage in a round of 32 game?
Well, I don't think it's going to be like a South American flight home where you might not make it out of the parking lot alive, but it's not going to end well.
Might be my favorite thing ever. Is how just insane and what this thing means to people. So fun. Oh my gosh, it's so fun. Just makes me LOL every single time. L to the freaking O to the L. Well, boys, it's been fun. Brian Hartman, great job today. You continue to get it done like the sun in the middle of the day. Shout out to my friends at High Noon. Welcome aboard. Cinco, great job today. Enjoy the action this evening. Yes.
Thank you, Tony. All these years, it's still a privilege and a pleasure to be on with you and Brian every Wednesday. I don't take that for granted. I know you have a lot of talent at your disposal, and it's your choice. And for you to include me, it's really appreciated.
Peace, my brothers. Love you guys.
You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville, and W289CU Knoxville, Fan Run Radio.
John Adams' absence, presented by Jennifer Morris, Next Move, SmokyMountains.com. We shot you out on a beautiful Tuesday. It is, man, to say it's hot, we are in the dog days of summer. The dog days of summer. So here we are. Fired up, focused, and prepared. The great Matt Diskin is alongside. Manny Marin County has found himself a new home. He finally found a home, hearing a song. Matt Diskin, I hope this works out. I hope this shortstop doesn't go in the draft, Matt Diskin. I hope these guys don't go in the draft, Matt Diskin. Tennessee's gambling a little bit, Matt Diskin.
Well, they're in the draft. You just hope that Tennessee's offer is enough to keep them from being drafted or being selected high enough to get a paycheck. But yeah,